Hello and welcome back to Geek Feng Shui. I'm your host and Game Master Bob Sellers Jr. Shout out to my geek friends over at Chaotic Good Brewing here in Casson, Minnesota. If you're in the area, stop by and check them out. If you're not and you look around, you might find some that almost are up to par with their excellence in providing community fun where friends and family can get together. They offer food trucks, they have pizza, pretzels, and a room full of board games or card games you can bring out and play. And they have events such as Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering, or yoga as well. So, and I'm not reimbursed for bringing them up as I do. I appear that way, but I'm not. I was there today filling up a growler. We are in the Growler Club, and so we get one filled up once a week. Today we're going to try a little raiding with the new character, not river raiding, which is different in Valhalla. I'm going to try to focus on this new character a little bit. Because I've done the dailies, I got to remember to load in the original new character level here. Check out my books at sellersjr.com or my barbecue at kiltedswinebbq.com or on YouTube at kiltedswinebbq. Please subscribe and like. It helps the channel, is much appreciated. Diablo 4 is coming, and I hope to get a bit of that playing going. I found out a couple people from work are going to be playing it, so we might have some multiplayer videos showing what it's like to play individually or with a group. With the raiding in Valhalla, which ironically is where the term Viking comes from, they would say, let's go a Viking, which means let's go a raiding. You can get resources to upgrade your base, as it were, your village, or whatever you want to call it. And river raiding upgrades your river raid, which is a separate thing. So we're going to go through to make sure I don't overwrite. Oops. I'll do the latest one, which is 9, which normally is the same, but I'll do the same thing the same way. I don't screw it up. As you go along, you'll have a boat in your base that you go out raiding, and you get crew members. You can hire them as you go. When you get into river raiding, it will be a separate crew. I don't know if sometimes you can mix them, but there's rotation. As you get up in level, you get higher and higher level. And it's very similar to the raids you do, except on the river raids, they're a bit tougher. So once you've loaded one in, if you do it like me, you gotta make sure that you go back and save it over the right ones, because additionally it defaults the last ones you save. So you go, in this case it's 9. Oops. What did I say? Really, you start with the low one and go back up because it saves the latest, so it puts them in order. So unlike my other character, you see there's a lot of things that aren't here, and these camps aren't as developed in Ravensthorpe. So we're going to go do a little raiding. Monastery raids, when you see on the map, you see a double crossed X's are the ones you want to have your crew with you. You can sneak in and do them without it. You just can't open the raid boxes by yourself.
Our ears and listen all.
Well, Chelsea.
It is time we go a Viking.
And you can see on the map, it tells you how far are you away if you look up towards the top.
At last! We will crack these Christian monasteries like a row of hen's eggs!
Let the
Saxons know we are here. The monasteries will be well guarded.
Ah, but nothing more than priests and prayers, I'd wager.
And you can run down smaller boats if you're evil. Or ruin somebody's day. Now when you see the little yellow line up or gold line, whatever you want to call it, that is going to be a raid.
Uncuts there!
To battle!
Check the sound level here. Invariably, you'll see the little gold dots up on top there. Those are telling you where treasures are.
Lay waste my wolves and take Christ's silver.
And you run into doors like this, so these you just bash down and go in. Invariably in these churches, oh, this is a loot chest that you need to have help with. So you'll go along and one of your crew member will come up and help you open it. Those are the raw materials that you collect to upgrade your... So there's two of them here. You can see the gold item. Now your crew won't necessarily bash. When you see an exclamation point, that means your person needs help. So you have to revive them. When you're on river raids, you only have so many times you can do them before they will die off. See a little barrel thing up there tells you where the chest is that you want to get to, and then you can see the red bodies in there and tell you that it's well protected. Now forcing doors means you're going to need to have help. And again, you kind of look around to see. Sometimes there's a guy there, otherwise when you go do it, you call him. And once you raid a monastery, it'll declare it done. Now there are other treasures that you can sometimes get in these monasteries. What you want to do is you want to do the site.
Alright, we have what we came for. Let's go. Sunan, guide me.
So you can look around with your Raven to see if there's, you see all these things way over there. I've done that with characters where I've just gone cross-country solo. Anything else? They'll usually tell you when you're done. Oh, there's something. Sometimes these outer sheds have a lower level. And you get these loot chests, which are not to be confused with the bigger ones, but they will have supplies in them sometimes. This reminds you that if you're cloaked, the guards won't necessarily see you right away. Once you're in combat, your cloak comes off. I'll do a couple more and go back to town. I'll give you an example of upgrading a particular spot. Blacksmith is where you can start. And you want to do the store, and there's other buildings in there. The shipbuilding ones where you can change your sails. So if you go look at your map, you can see several of these different raids around here, and they'll tell you what raid level in some of these outer areas you want to go to. Well, this one has an interesting, there's a flight point that I kind of want to get to. Before I do that, there's a flight point up here. We are going to go to this flight point, which also happens to have some armor, not necessarily a raid.
Day and some fine work from all of you. We should return home and unload everything.
Are you certain there aren't a few more gold nuggets squirreled away somewhere?
My gut tells me no.
So, Eivor, what's your count?
My count? Dang, I have no need to count my kills.
Normally, you're doing a quest where you want to return to the settlement and build a forge, and you will do that. But
there were barely a dozen when we arrived.
we're going to get the flight points.
Oh, no, you missed them. They attacked from the forest.
Some of these raids have two entrances too. Something to consider. You don't always have to go up the main one. If you want to go in just to be stealthy and kill off people, you can. You just can't open up the chest, but you will have a skill to call your raid. So as a challenge, one time I did do that. So again, this is not a raid. We'll go get our heals done. So I'm trying to get to grit. This lights up all of the different paths to get to, and you can get to some skills, the different paths. And you've managed to identify a zealot. Zealots are what you collect for the rewards as well. See the flight point way up there. In this mode, the guards are going to really get upset. If you played a more higher difficulty, they would have attacked me. Most likely. We're in story mode for this demonstration of this character. And there's people that say, well, it's not playing. I say, well, it is and it isn't. You want to enjoy the game, you do it at your own difficulty. Having these flight points, or waypoints, whatever you want to call them, is beneficial when you're going around trying to get somewhere, as you've seen with the daily quests I do on the other character. And typically, like, you'll see the wagon load of, say I don't have Leap of Faith, so I lucked out and I landed in it, which is not to be confused with Leap of Faith. Now there is some materials in there. I have to get down and get. Now, when you come up here, if you're not looking up, this is something you can either do with a fire arrow, or if you notice something above it, you can shoot out the whatever's holding. It'll also open up or if you find a thing of oil and put it on it. Then of course many times you have to adapt, use a little hidden wall trick. And there's a chest. Carboning it. Sometimes you might find armor. You can climb up here. Then you have the stairs down to the book. Whenever you see a stairs, I usually indicate that's what you got to do to get down to it. Some of these are protected. So this one's already open. Sometimes later on you'll get into some of these where you have to kill guards to get by. And there's puzzles to get in, like, okay, how do I do this? I get arrows as I'm going. Now you see this little area under here. That tells you it's blocked, but you can get, if you get to the other side, you can pull that away. There's snakes. You get leather from snakes. Next, we'll come over here. Figure out how we're going to get over across there, because you can see the chest. And the way to get through it, you just got to figure out how to get over there. Sometimes it's not obvious. This is how we came down. I usually don't light a torch right, because I never know if there's going to be guards that are going to see it. Alright, so this is a wall you can break through. And now you're in the water. You can swim through. Sometimes you have to dive. Get through certain areas. In this case, I had to swim under to get through here. This is an example of an oil pot, so you see how that is conveniently set there. Breakable walls can be done later on with explosive areas is a skill that you'll get up. Until then, you're kind of limited to finding oil barrels, and if you go through that, you will catch on fire. So it's just easier to wait for the fire to burn out. Remember that opening underneath that you saw was blocked? Well, it's blocked no more. Harpoon impalement is nice because you can shoot them and pull them. And then we're done here. If you remember how to get up. Which can be an interesting trick in and of itself. No, I don't want to do Microsoft updates. I recommend doing them, just not in the middle of a game. There'll be a lot. There's also bureaus that are going to really have puzzles on how to get them. So if you want to go get this armor, it tells you that it's 154 meters away. There's a horse if you want it. And this one is a little tricky because there's people guarding it. And so this is another puzzle that you have to figure out. The guard that just went by would normally have attacked me if I was at a higher difficulty level. So the door is barred, which means you can't open it, but you can shoot the bar that locks it. So these guys are essentially locked in to their building. So then you have to look around, and you see these little tree stands. Well, guess what? If you get up there, sometimes it's a journey to figure that out because you can't climb the tree itself. But you see how that rope connects? Oops. That's a guy you don't want to mess with. He's a zealot. They're a little more uber bosses. They will track you down. Alright, so how do we get to... So that connects to the building. So what you want to do is you want to follow the path because you can climb buildings. Nothing is more fun than finding a way around, getting halfway over there, and you slip and fall off of the rope. Not cool. So then the trick is the rope, you kind of just jump in your axis. And you gotta learn to jump and fall, because there's some of them that'll lead you right over the top of where you want to go. So remember that barred door. You can see it. You see a little point red. So now that front door will open. Can't shoot these guys. No, I can. So you don't have to worry about them jumping you. I've actually never done that through. I usually go in and kill them inside. It's good to learn something new. always break stuff. It's like in Diablo. This is a breakable wall. It happens to be a shield. We look at the map to see if there's any other. Now you have an icon over here. You collect these masks so when you build up one of your places in town, you can turn those in. Always good to pay attention to where those are. Those are characters separate. They're not shared across like the other tokens are that you collect when doing the dailies. When you mark something on your map, you get a little icon you can see in the sky. If you can't figure out where it is, you can send your bird up and look for it. That guy's coming, I'm just going to avoid him. The higher difficulty, he would hunt you down. Do a lot of climbing in this game. If you don't know anything about the mask, you tend to not to pay attention. You have to come back and do this again. You can't always get to the top as much as you'd like. So, we will climb this one. And you see that little statue down there. Sometimes the things you're looking for will be on statues. They get creative where they hide them. It's a turnbuckle. There we go. Usually a sweet spot when you're climbing these pillars we get up on top, and sometimes they're guarded. Right button to assassinate. Gotta be careful because you can set off the oil barrels and you have a fire on top. I've done that, not good. You can set up automatic looting as a skill, I believe. I've had it for so long I don't remember. They go from, so sometimes if you sneak up on this one, you can shoot them with your bow and arrow. I think that is all we've got in here. These are little things you can collect too. I'm not going to worry about that. So we're going to go back to the ship and go back and turn the quest in. So I cheated and went back to the boat. And we will go back and turn this first one in. Because the blacksmith one, unlike the other ones, is a quest. It starts out to show you an example of what happens when you upgrade your buildings. The more buildings you upgrade, the higher level your settlement excuse me, is. You can see a little green thing up there is no. I'm not going to worry about that. Waypoint for a moment. Look at that next video. There's a certain level you have to be to do river raids. I'll look it up for you eventually. It's a building you actually build in your settlement. that you can recruit, and so you can have your champions go out with other people and you get your gold and silver. So even though it's not a multiplayer game, you can benefit from other people playing if they happen to recruit your champion to go on their raids. Now, I could have taken the fast travel back to town. I often do, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to take it the long way. You don't have to have your sail up, you can just go along at your own leisure pace. And there'll be cases where the bad guys are in shore shooting at you when you're in your boat. So you're not indestructible in the boat. You see that little, looks like a depth charge going off underneath. That is where you can dock your boat.
Let's put in here. We can continue.
So you come up to this sign and you interact. It'll tell you what you need to upgrade. So in this case, we need 900 of the supplies and 60 of the raw materials. And or that's what we have, excuse me, we have 960. We need 430 so we can build. And it gives you a little video of it. And every building has a level to it, so you can build. Some of them get level 2, level 3, and these little signs will tell you.
Wonderful, Eivor. A forge bigger and hotter than my old forge back in Fernberg. Come visit me anytime. For weapons and gear, there is no man better than me.
I will, Gunnar. Have no doubt.
And then you can call your raven when you're in town, as I did in the town, and you can see the different things that are built. Now, if you come up, he doesn't have, I don't think he has a second level on his thing, but now when you come up and talk to him, unlike the first blacksmith, he'll have a couple different options.
May I see your stores?
So you can enhance your gear. You can downgrade your gear if you want to get the materials back, and you can change appearance. So this is useful if you have armor that you want to have look like a different set. But so if you had an armor that was all white, for example, and you want to look like this, you can make it look like this set or cost. He doesn't sell armor, and he tells you how many of your different carbon ingots, eventually nickel ingots, and then tungsten will you get eventually, and what you can upgrade.
Done for now.
So let's go take a look at a couple other places that might be beneficial. So the boatyards is something else to consider. It is if you're in the vanity of your sailing boat. Well, if there's the first level doesn't have a boatyard. As you upgrade your buildings, your settlement will go up a level, and once that happens, then you'll have more businesses. But we do have, you'll see this is the barracks. You can recruit characters. Instead of the store, I'll do this one. And so with the barracks, you can recruit people, and you'll see them waiting outside.
With this, we can recruit more warriors.
Our warriors now have a place to rest and train.
A fine shelter it is. When word gets out, it should attract many Jomsvikingar to fight with us. Which reminds me, a few of your raiders are chomping at the bit in hope of
And
becoming
this is
your
where you pick
second.
your
You ought to
champion.
pick one.
Let's see. You can change their armor if you want to whatever you have going with it. And you can't change a name. I kind of like that one. You can do different genders. And she fights as your champion. I think you can also equip stuff. I'll have to double check how that works. Like you come over here now, and you can say you can recruit for 100. So you can see how it's Major Tom 77 HROs, Jump Viking. So if I recruit them and use them, he or she gets credit.
Let ring the sword song this day.
Sometimes you'll come in here and there'll be other crew members as you get bigger. And if you don't like what you can see, you can always go out and re-roll it.
While you were away, your Jomsvikingar helped to serve other Jarls. Here is the tribute they earned.
So mine used, I don't know if that's just the first one they do. So I want to manage.
Reorganize the crew.
And you can build and replace as you want. You can pick your friends, or you can pick from what you have in your own thing. I'm just going to leave them alone for right now.
I must be on my way now. Goodbye.
So if you want to go up and get an idea how much it costs to upgrade a certain thing, I think for the next level for barracks, you might not be able to upgrade until you get to level 2. You go look for these little signs. The placards will tell you. So in other words, there's just runes here. So in this case, you need 430 for the trading post, which is probably the one I'll upgrade next. The main hall, you will get missions for new territories.
The Saxons break their kingdoms into smaller territories called shires.
Eivor, in here.
What will you keep in this room?
My finest weapon. For this room is yours. Here you may lay your head, hang your axe, or be alone with your thoughts. Do you like it?
It suits me well, but I would be just as happy lodging with the raiders on the wharf. I need no special treatment.
This is not special treatment. I want you here in the Longhouse, close at hand. I may be the Jarl of this clan, but you and I lead together, as ever. So get acquainted with your room, and when you're ready, meet me at the stables.
So when you get to your room, you can get letters that you read. It's part of the quest. So what they tell you to do to upgrade, you need to do blacksmith, hidden ones bureau, stable, training post, and barracks. Then you get up to the next level. I'll tell you which ones I suggest. And then you can read the...
A letterbox for messages and requests.
Sometimes when you free somebody or do something, they'll send you some letters, like email. And if you want to pass the time and sleep, you can.
A bed better than many I have slept in, and a good place to recover.
You can click on it and go sleep.
Not much, but it is mine.
Good day.
My friend, the path ahead is bright.
With glory at its end. Farewell, Eivor.
But why now?
Doug, please. This must be done.
Yes, and I can help. Look at...
More of the storyline.
What was that about? Is Basim leaving us already?
Sigurd means to leave as well.
Is that true?
We know the sons of Ragnar have camped in the north. It would do us well to pay them a visit, to strengthen our ties to this land.
Is that where Basim has gone?
Basim's motives are his own. Leave it at that. We have more pressing plans. I am riding to Leicestershire, to a town called Repton. Eivor, I expect you to join me when you have finished here.
I can come now. I only need a horse.
Not yet. First speak with Randvi. She has more than one task for you here. Apart from growing this settlement, you must seek out alliances as well. We cannot pacify England with so few friends.
Then I must join you, Sigurd, for I am a fitter companion on long roads.
No, Dag. You belong here with the raiders, and you will act as Eivor commands.
Ride in safety, brother. I will follow as soon as I can.
Yes, and I will keep our raiders sharp.
This guy's a little jealous. Much?
Do as Eivor commands. Is he testing me?
He may be. Sigurd is a wise man.
I would sooner take orders from a louse.
Ooh. Premonition? So this is where you try to go get alliances.
An island of calm in this turbulent land. But my vision of fire still troubles me. It would be good to rest beneath my dear old tree. I've always found peace there in the past.
We need a place to...
This is where you come to the map.
There you are.
You wanted to see me.
As Sigurd has so ordered, it falls to us to expand our presence in England.
He wants to forge alliances, ironclad, with every Norse, Dane, and Saxon here.
Right. We are the outsiders here. Making friends will help.
Where do we start?
My scouts come and go daily with interesting news and tidings, and I'm beginning to get my bearings in this fractured land. As I learn more, I can give you insight into each territory before you commit to a journey there.
Of course.
Once you have gained an ally in a territory, return home and speak to me. We'll decide your next move then.
I understand. So where do we start?
You have two options just now. Join Sigurd in Leicestershire to the north and meet with the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, or head south to Grantebridgeshire to meet an army of Danes led by one Guthrum Jarl and his second, Soma. I should add, our young friend Hytham has been conferring with his own contacts in the cities. His research could be useful in winning us alliances throughout the cities of England. Speak with him and see what he needs.
I want to see the alliance map.
So we're getting close to alliance map. You can come down and pledge. And I'll tell you in level 20.
Tell me about Grantebridgeshire.
A force of Danes, called the Summer Army by the Saxons, is camped north of Grantebridge at some ruins across the river. We should curry favor with their leaders, Guthrum and Soma, if we hope to win their trust and allegiance. My scouts did not meet them in person, so I can say little for the state of their army. Consider this a starting point.
historically, Saxons were more German than the European, I don't know how to put it, but Vikings
I
were
will leave right away.
Scandinavian,
Good. And may the blessings of Freya follow.
Irish, whatever. Some people get them confused, and there are different. I mean, I call my heritage Saxon only because of my heritage going back, but that I'm not part German, so don't know if that would actually really count. So we're going to get fire resistance training, light bow attacks, and then I got 2 more that I'll have grit, battleground, I should say. They'll work our way down to grit. So now I think this is at the point where I'm going to learn Maple Bathe if memory serves me correctly. No, it's that good. So questions. One down here, you see the little quest thing is not lit up because I haven't highlighted it, but
Hytham, Ranvi asked me to see you about finding friends in the cities of England.
That's right. London, Jorvik, Winchester, all 3 are infested by members of the same order to which Kjotve belonged. But their reach extends much further than this. Of all the lands on Earth, I believe England is the most overrun.
Do they cause here the same turmoil Kjotve caused in Norway?
Not just turmoil. They spread a plague of delusion, teaching men and women to abase and abuse themselves in exchange for power.
You have strong feelings about this.
Of course. This is the sole purpose of the Hidden Ones, to liberate the body and spirit of man from any unnatural shackles. But we have not operated in England for over 4 centuries. Since the fall of the Roman Empire, the Hidden Ones have not had a presence here. This absence has given the Order of the Ancients ample room to grow and thrive. Our task will not be an easy one, but with a bureau, Basim and I could begin our work. If you have the time and spare resources to build one, we would be most grateful.
I will see what I can do.
so once you build it, that's when he'll train you. You don't have training. When you build it, you'll have training dummies and whatnot. And the ... means they have something to say sometimes. Ammo is full. I think we will call this a video at the moment. Making sure we save it at the right levels, 7, 8, and 9. I might do another video later of more adventures, but I thought I'd get this one done at least. And, that's that. Check out my books. Gilted Swine, BBQ for my barbecue, my books at sellersjr.com. Subscribe and like and share. Check out breweries such as our gold standard Chaotic Good Brewing here in Castle, Minnesota, or others in your area. Stay safe and have a great and healthy day.